Well, welcome to our little artisan cheese shop here at the Natural Pastures Cheese Factory. I'm going to give you a little visual tour. We have a freezer to start with over there, nice skinny little freezer, and it holds our cultured butter that you probably got to hear about at the back. It's a European cultured butter made in small batches, and then we also make fondue. If you go out to 40 Knots on a Friday night, you can do their fondue Friday, and that is. Oh, yes, and we've been out to it too. It's absolutely amazing. We do a collaboration with Hot Chocolates, and they make the pastry for our baked brie that's in the freezer there. And then we do have some larger size things and gift boxes and large sizes in the other fridge there. And I'm going to give you a tour through the cheese board there once I tell you a little bit about our fridge here. What you see here is everything here in our fridge is made here in the factory behind you. You guys get to see that, but the first group was like, well, so where's it made? And like, we usually have 20 staff here, Monday to Friday, starting at 4:30 a.m. So the cheesemakers usually start about 4:30 a.m. They leave about 12 to 1 o'clock, and then our packaging team comes in at 8 o'clock, and they leave at 4 o'clock. So it's a pretty long day here. So we're open in the store here Monday to Friday, 9 to 4. And then within 500 meters from here, you can go to Edible Island or Butcher Block. And then as well, you'll see a lot of our stuff out at local grocery stores. All over BC, many grocery stores carry at least our Comox Brie, but it's limited to the other things that they carry. We make two types of cheese here. You guys probably have heard this before. We make Water Buffalo cheese. We've got two herds on the island. McClintock's is a farm that's here in Courtenay, and Coleman Meadows is down in Port Alberni. So both of those come together to make McClintock's yogurt, which is distributed by Tree Island. And I've got some samples here of the cream cheese as well, which we'll have afterwards. So in the case, you have pretty much half Water Buffalo and half cows. You've heard a little bit about the farming practices and that. So we do buy the milk for the cows from the milk board, and then we actually pick up the milk from McClintock's to go out into the yogurt, and then we make several different cheeses with it. Every Tuesday we make fresh mozzarella. So we make bocconcini di bufala, mozzarella di bufala, and then we do make cow bocconcini and fior di latte. So has anyone had fior di latte before? Yes, perfect. It's something I feel like I'm always telling, but people are like, what's fior di latte? It's just cow mozzarella. It's in the ball, and the mozzarella di bufala is the big ball, and then the bocconcini are like little cherry sizes. So they're really easy to throw on a pizza. And the difference that you'll see when we get over to the cheese board is Water Buffalo products are really white. Really, really white and bright. So they look really nice on Instagram with cherries and on a pizza, all that stuff. It really makes things pop. And the cow milk it's more yellow. That's all. So we do have a buffetta as well that is 80% Water Buffalo and 20% cow. We just won, just 2023. I guess it was last year, won gold at the Royal Winter Fair for it. It's a super high protein, super easy to crumble on your breakfast stuff or roast on pizza. Ryder's Pizza actually has it on a artichoke feta pizza, and then they grill it, and it is absolutely amazing. It's so good. So we do a firm mozzarella, the soft mozzarella's, and then the cream cheese in the Water Buffalo, and then we have what's called a washed rind as well. So we wash the cheese in a brine, and you're going to get to taste it over here a little bit later today. Our cow cheese, we have quite a few of them that start at what's called a boar and cass, and it's what a lot of people might think of as a Gouda or a type of cheddar, but it's actually Dutch for farmer cheese. So once we have the boar and cass, we then smoke it. Doug, if you were here on a Friday, quite often, if you were here yesterday, you would have smelled applewood smoke. He smokes it here in the back. We have two cheeses that we smoke, the boar and cass, and then we actually have our Verdelait cheese. One is the Pacific Pepper becomes Pacific Wildfire once we smoke it, and I've got samples of that on the board for you today. The boar and cass then also gets aged 18 months to 2 years. So that's quite a long time to watch, and it's getting rotated. It expresses quite a bit of liquid as well, so it will get repackaged, and it becomes what's called our aged farmhouse. So it becomes crumbly, a little bit more crumbly than it's what you would think of as an old cheddar, and it develops these crystals as well. So it's sharp and sweet, And we actually have a double aged one right now that's sharp, sweet, and really, really smooth, which is unusual. We don't usually let it get that old. We found a batch at the back of the cupboard. So it doesn't meet our brand standards, so it won't go into grocery stores, but you will see really interesting things that come up here. The Bourne Cask also becomes our King's Peak. So it gets washed about 6 times with the lees from the Chardonnay from 40 knots. And so after it's been washed a few times, it becomes a more complicated cheese. It builds this edge on it, you'll see over there, and it starts to inform the interior of the cheese, and it becomes mushroomy and sweet, and it ends in kind of like a stone fruit finish. You'll find that depending whether you drink tea or coffee as well, it can affect how you taste the cheese. So I always recommend take a first taste and then take a second taste, and you'll get more different layers, especially with the King's Peak. When it is open, though, in the factory, when the wheels get opened up, we call it King's Feet. So it's one of those cheeses where you really have to not trust your nose and trust it when you eat it. So I often will make sure people taste it first, because if you were just to smell it, you'd be like, whoa. It's like, is that an old brie? Or and then, what else do we do with it? Smoked Bourne Cask, King's Peak. That's it. So you'll see we have 8 wheels, and then you'll see we have these little circular ones here, and those are what I call the donut holes of cheese. So when we have a machine that takes a wheel of cheese after we've tidied it up and taken it out of storage. It weighs it and cuts it into equivalent so that it's always equal, because each one is a little bit different, right? They're all unique in their own way. But we take the donut hole out, the middle of the cheese out, and it's also the center, so it's just as good as everything else, and we sell them as little pieces that go on a Ritz cracker, absolutely perfect. Yeah. So the other cheeses we have are the Amsterdamer, which is on the board as well, and it's a very sweet, kind of like a German butter cheese. It cuts up and goes into a mac and cheese super easy. I have left some of this cheese at my daughter's house. I have 3 grandsons, and so she's obviously just thrown it in the freezer because I can take a little bit of volume. And they now will just wait for that cheese to thaw, because they're little gourmet cheese fiends now. They're like, no, we don't want the cheap cheese in the fridge. We want to wait for the good stuff. You'll see that we make Comox Brie and we make Buffalo Brie, and one is Water Buffalo, and you'll see these on the counter there. And they are, you'd know the difference because of how white the Water Buffalo is, and the brie is a little bit more yellow. I don't know how much is left there, but you'll see also the 2 bries that are out are different ages. So when a brie first gets cut, it's almost chalky. It's white, it's chalky, it's not what you think of as a brie yet. And you'll see 2 different ways, and then it ends up getting really runny. So you can, some people will buy it when it's been fresh packed, and they know how many days they want to age it before they eat it. So you are in control of how your cheese flavor is depending on how you age it too, which is really fun. Most people ask what's the difference between a Comox Camembert and a Brie, and so the difference between Brie and Camembert, has anyone ever wondered that before? So it's a 3% difference in, I want to say acidity, but it's basically because of the difference, that 3% difference, one will age mushroomy, which is the Camembert. It also has a little bit, people will tend to age it past its expiry date to the point where if you're very French, you like it very stinky. I have friends that I can take them one that's about a month after the expiry date, and they're just like, oh, I love it. And I'm like, I don't know how you stand that. It's just not my taste. But again, it's different, the smell versus when you cut it open, it's very sweet and runny. And then the Comox Brie will go very buttery. It gets sweeter as it goes versus mushroomy. So if anyone's ever wondered of that question, because I did. And then there's always the age-old question, do you eat the rind? You can totally eat it. It's totally up to you. So absolutely. Did Doug go over what the difference is between the Water Buffalo protein and the cow protein? So one of the reasons people love Water Buffalo milk is they don't know they are allergic to an A1 protein versus an A2 protein. A lot of people think that they're allergic to lactose, but when they find out it's the protein and they can eat goat, sheep, and water buffalo, it can be a real game changer for people. The water buffalo is also non-GMO, grass-fed, and farmer led, I guess you could say too. So for a lot of people, I mean, the other cows are treated well as well, but a lot of people like the connection between the farmer and the water buffalo because of their hand fed, and I've been out to feed a baby water buffalo. It's pretty cool. So for it's not just that it's an A2 protein, the water buffalo, but for a lot of people, it ticks a lot of boxes. But it is grass fed, so you get more variations in the milk versus the grain fed cows, which provides a little bit more consistency through the year. Because we're always looking at what our fat content is. So, any questions? No? Okay, well.
Eager to taste.
Okay, well, let's go. Let's swap sides, and let's go through the board here, so you know what you're getting to snack on. So the first one here, you'll notice it's a little bit yellow, and so it is the cow brie. These are local Jenny Marie crackers, made in Victoria. The two sides here, this is the smoked cheese, so it's Pacific Wildfire, and this is the King's Peak, and you guys are actually going to get it even better because the warmer it is, the nicer it is, because when you leave your cheeses out for at least an hour or two, they, just like anything, you get more flavor. This is also cow, and then you'll see the difference here between the cow and that's a water buffalo, and this is pretty fresh too, so the longer this ages, the more runny it'll get too. So you've got the King's Peak here, and you'll see the rind here. This is, if you were to put this up to your nose, it's actually kind of stinky. So actually, what I can do is break this off here, if you want to pass it around, because we're not eating it. But you can just pass it around. You'll notice it's a little bit stinky, but then when you go to taste this, you're going to taste this lovely mushroomy, nutty flavor. And that's part of that is the wine. I find that this one isn't as stinky. So this one, I call this my last meal. This is King's Peak, and this is Mount Beecher. We named them after local mountains. We had a competition actually for this one. If anyone knows Thierry from Innisfree Farm, he had a search and rescue incident a few years ago off of Mount Beecher, and one of the ladies, the day we were just closing the contest, came in and she's like, "You have to name that Mount Beecher." So it's kind of nice because it also is a landmark locally, but also the fact that our search and rescue really needs support because they're one of the only search and rescues that don't have their own building yet. So hopefully we'll find them one soon. And they pay about $80,000 just for a lease, which should be going into training and funding and into search and rescue. I also call this my last meal. It's like on a Friday night, if you don't want to cook, just take a big chunk of this, leave it on the counter, bottle of Inniskillen Merlot, and you're good to go. We also do fresh curds so a lot of the cheeses will start out as little curds like this. And on Wednesday afternoon, if you come in, we have fresh squeaky cheese. So Tuesdays is fresh mozzarella. Wednesdays is fresh curds. They're super salty and sweet and squeaky, and so a lot of the kids love them. I've got 8, 9, 10 bags left. So first come, first serve, and they're a gift to you guys. They're great. Somebody asked me, because afterwards somebody asked what you use them for. Has anyone had curds before? Yeah, a lot of people. We often get people coming in telling us stories from the East Coast. They're like, when I was a kid, they were at every gas station. So people use them for poutine. They also, you can put them on top of a cheap Walmart pizza and it will taste like a pizzeria pizza. I use them for nachos, and one of my favorite things on a cold winter night is just put them on top of a chili or a soup, and it's just amazing. And they grill up really nice as a top of like a French onion soup or something. So enjoy. Thanks for listening to it, and I hope you enjoyed the tour today.